and in this video I'll be giving you some information on infrastructure as a service, which is one of the cloud computing service models, or they call it as delivery models. So if you don't know what is a cloud, what is cloud computing, and what are these delivery models, I've taken a few videos on that. You can click on the links that I've provided in the description box. So in this video I'll be just giving you a little bit of an overview on what is infrastructure as a service, also known as IaaS. So let's get into it. So infrastructure as a service. Here, the infrastructure as a service provides and manages resources such as storage, networking hardware, servers, okay? Stuff like this is what is provided as part of infrastructure as a service. Whereas the data part, the application, the middleware, all this needs to be taken care by the individual businesses. Okay, so by providing infrastructure as a service, this enables businesses to purchase hardware easily and quickly. So I had taken a video on what are the different difficulties business face on purchasing and setting up hardware, and servers and server rooms and stuff like that. It cannot happen quickly and easily. It does take time, it takes a lot of cost, it takes a lot of effort and money as well. So by having infrastructure as a service, businesses, they can easily purchase it as and when they want in a quicker and a easier manner compared to the traditional way. So if you see infrastructure as a service, there are certain pros and cons. Okay, so you can easily, first let us look at the benefits. So businesses can easily scale up and down. As I said, whenever they want extra infrastructure, they can scale up, as well as whenever they feel that infrastructure is not being utilized and they don't need so much of infrastructure that they purchased, they can scale down. So that's one big benefit. And by doing this, it's cost effective because you're only paying for what you're using. Okay, and also there is easy deployment. Okay, so you just request for what infrastructure resource you need and it gets deployed. Okay, also there is effective resource utilization. Okay, so if you see infrastructure as a service on the vendor side, the resources are also utilized effectively in the sense that there is a server that can be used by multiple users as and when they like. Also, if you see, there is complete control over the architecture. So businesses, when they use infrastructure as a service, they make use of these infrastructure resources while having complete control over their architecture. So while there are so many benefits, there are few drawbacks of infrastructure as a service. So I can't say drawbacks, but they do exist. Okay, so the first one is it does take some amount of training for people to get used to this infrastructure as a service, as well as how they can use this infrastructure as a service platform, request for infra, maintain and manage infrastructure. So there is quite a learning curve over there, as well as now businesses, instead of having their entire infrastructure on their premises, they move to a vendor. So therefore there is a bit of dependence on the vendor, which means that whenever something happens, let's say there is a downtime with the vendor, something had happened, and the infra is not available for few minutes. Okay, so there is a dependency on the vendor. Anything happens there, of course there's going to be some interruption in the businesses. Okay, but that rarely happens. Okay, and the last one is data security due to multi-tenant. So I'll be taking like what is multi-tenants in another video. It's basically in one infrastructure, many users get to access it, but there is different tenants. There is a segregation over there. Okay, so these are few of the I would say drawbacks or risks that's involved in infrastructure as a service. So who would benefit this infrastructure as a service? Who it best suits? So there are three scenarios. The first one is startups. So the startups can avoid spending time and money on purchasing and maintaining hardware. So if you ever got a chance, you would have seen in your colleges and universities, or if you were part of a startup company, okay, or even there are mid-sized companies, you would see that there is this server room that has all this infrastructure, and it does need air conditioning, it needs constant maintenance, and needs resources, people who can manage that. It does take a lot of time, effort and money. So startups, since they do sometimes they do not have all the amount of money that's required for this, it's good that startups avail this infrastructure as a service, because then they get to, get the infrastructure when they want, and also they just pay for how much they use. Also, if you see larger companies, they purchase only what they actually consume or need. So sometimes larger companies, suddenly they have a customer base or market demand that might, vary from time to time over a period. So let's say during holiday periods, they found that, their products are kind of highly used, stuff like that. So at that particular period, for example, let's say tax filing, so there is a period when this happens. So if you see that a company might face, a particular traffic during that time, so they definitely need maybe some extra resources. So during that time, large companies also make use of this infrastructure as a service. And the next one is companies with specific demands. So as I said, particular companies where they feel that over a period of time or particular time they might need, high amount of infrastructure resources. So these companies specifically, they make use of this infrastructure as a service, rather than having their own infrastructure and maintaining it, and wasting money in maintenance and stuff like that. So if you see some of the infrastructure as a service providers, you have AWS, then you have Microsoft Azure, you have even Google Compute Engine, and some many others. But since these three are quite well known, I give these three as examples. So I hope that you got some information on what infrastructure as a service is. So if you found this video helpful, please do give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more information and content like this, and also business analysis stuffs. And also don't forget to share your feedbacks. Thank you.